Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Coach Les, and we're excited tonight to be here for the Life's Podcast and Videocast with Dr. Robert Paisola and myself. We are here tonight. We're going to be talking about some really fun topics around that, what I would call the financial stresses of the holidays, post-COVID, or some people are saying COVID still hasn't left and it'll never leave. So here we are. And we're looking forward to the conversation tonight. And it looks like Robert has stepped off and clicked the wrong button. Technical difficulties, they always happen. And I want to start off by saying, first off, COVID impacted people in a variety of different ways. There were many people that lost people very close to them. In fact, I don't know anybody that didn't have anybody close to them or relatively close, i.e. 2 degrees away, that passed away from COVID. I don't know. I know people that are struggling from being left jobless, that are dealing with not being able to still get their health back. Some not being able to get their health back to go back to the job that they were regularly at because their health no longer supports the strenuousness of their job. There are family members that continue to be impacted by the frustrations that exist with the government, with money situations.
Yeah.
Many people paused their mortgages for almost 2 years, a year and a half. And, the smart ones put the money away and saved it. And now they're able to withstand not being back to work yet. Those that had health issues, a lot of them had to use the money to cover the excesses of the medical costs. So tonight we're going to delve into, and Robert's back in the stage, and we're going to delve into some of the issues. Some of them may not be pleasant. So remember, as we go into this, we are just sharing some of the points of views that exists out there. If you have an issue with our views, you may reach out to us by email or by text message on some of the back channels. Reach out. We'd be glad to have a conversation. Everybody has different opinions about this, and some of them get very heated. We're not interested in that tonight.
No.
We're interested in just hearing kind of where the status is and what are some of the things you can do. I mean, Dr. Robert Paisola is, I hate to call this, I'm going to say he's the wizard of finance. And, it's funny, he's wearing his wizard costume tonight with his, shiny Las Vegas style, Godfather style dinner jacket. And I think it's awesome. So, tonight we're going to hear some of the secrets coming in from ways to recover. And we're also going to be looking at some of the ways in which emotionally you can set pathways to get out of the poop. And no, I'm not a therapist. Neither is Dr. Robert Paisola. We're not psychiatrists. We're not psychologists or therapists. We're here, and tonight you're going to hear some of the things that integrity can bring to the show. Integrity that relates to a wheel of life that might have broken spokes or loose spokes. And tonight we're going to give you an opportunity to exchange some of those spokes, tighten some of those spokes, and true your integrity wheel up. So looking forward to it. And with that, I'm going to hand the mic over to Dr. Robert Paisola. He's going to take over, and I'm looking forward to this. Great to see you, Dr. Robert.
Good afternoon, Coach Les. Boy, I tell you, This is the second in a two-part series, which we've never done a two-part series before. A second session in a two-part series on our national and international podcast. Change your mind, change your life. Last time, Coach Les, by the way, since the last time he was on, is the #1 listened to broadcast around the world that we've done in the entire year of 2022. And so we found that a lot of people had a lot of questions. Now, let me tell you something I know about Coach Les. Coach Les is the integrity coach. He listens very, very intently to your actual issue, and does the best to give you a direction and a roadmap to be able to get out of your stuff. Okay. That's why I like Coach Les, because we have a relationship which is a little different. I'm the guy that is the crisis manager. Our team at Western Capital and Western Capital International and all of my companies, we're the ones that deal with problems when your life is in chaos and in a turmoil, spinning down. We're the ones that get the phone call. Okay. So Coach Les is the one that's going to have you prepared for those phone calls and going to have you ready for those issues when they happen. So just the feedback from the last show, guys, it was absolutely amazing. So let's talk about reality. Reality is, and Coach Les and I discussed this, is that everybody has been locked down and put in a situation where they have to comply for over 2 years now. At first, we were told, let's go ahead and take 2 years and let's do one for the team. Let's stay home and see if we can do it. Of course, everybody said, sure, no problem. But the more research we do, the more things that we investigate, the more we find out that, you know what? There were more lives lost during COVID-19, during that period over the past 3 years, than COVID-19 itself, than COVID itself, because of mental health issues, suicidal ideation, suicidal problems, and all of it. And of course, if you have kids, you understand how serious this is. How serious this is. It is because we know that no kid is able to sit in front of a computer for 6 hours and call it an actual educational component of life. It's just impossible, right? So they believe that they could do that by putting kids in front of Zoom, and we see the results now. We're based in Las Vegas. There are over 30,000 students that are missing right now from the school system. How is that possible? And when Coach and I were growing up, I don't think we could even spent one day away from going to school, or snuck away without our parents knowing, right, Coach? Right?
Not a chance.
Not a chance. We would have had, the wood would have been on our behinds. And so to say that we're losing 30,000 people is not only catastrophic, it's terroristic. There's got to be something that we can do as a society to really, really amp things up, to make sure that we're part of the solution, not part of the problem. Now, let's talk about what went on. During that period that we were all sitting home, a lot of us did not have the ability to reach out to our friends. We didn't have the ability to go do the things that we wanted to do. We didn't have the ability to go, whether it's even walk our dogs, play tennis, play badminton, whatever it happened to be. So we had to completely reinvent ourselves. And that's an interesting topic. And I'll bring that up, because what did you do during COVID-19? What did you do during that period of time that you had to stay home, or are you still staying home? Interesting question, isn't it? Because you had one of two choices. You could sit back and watch TV and hope that things would change, or you could create something that's going to give you a long-term, beneficial, passive residual income. Well, Coach Les and I decided a long time ago, and we've been friends now since the opening of a platform online called Clubhouse. And right now we're on LinkedIn, we're on our direct TV feed, we're on Dish Network, we're everywhere right now. That's why we take this so important, because of the syndication. This is being brought to you. By the way, we're being brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of America. There's a reason why Mercedes stands up and says, you know what, we want to sponsor what you guys do, what you do, right? And you're going to hear some wonderful things about 2024 or 2023, excuse me, about some of the things that we're going to do joint venture wise that are going to be able to assist you and your family as Coach Les and I work with you together. But my friends, we had to decide, do we sit back or do we create something? If we are going to create something, what is it going to be that's going to be able to be to help people, right? You can say that, you know what, there's just no hope. We're not gonna get it through this, or I give up and I don't want to deal with it. I get that. I get that. However, there are some people that said, you know what, I want to create something. Now, what we did is we covered our bases in two different ways. We buy companies that, because of COVID, decided to go out of business, and we're in the middle of helping companies right now. I'm in the middle of with a client right now that is purchasing almost a $2 million company, because the people that owned the company decided that COVID was the end of their ability to work and they wanted to get out of it. We were able to arrange amazing terms and are in the middle of working with the SBA. That's the magic that we can create. That's the magic that you can create in your life whenever you decide, I want to do something. So guys, that's what I do. And my name is Robert Paisola, and I am the CEO and president of Western Capital. I guess the questions I have for you guys tonight are, how are you handling the stress? How are you dealing with the issues? Coach and I know we're both coaches, but do not understand or do not underestimate the simple fact that we too have coaches, right? We don't have all the answers. That's absolutely true. We don't have all the answers. And we go to our peers. I come from the Trump organization. I worked for them for over 10 years. And for 17 years, I don't know if any of you remember, but you would get a note in the mail. You get a letter that say, come to this hotel and watch this seminar. And someone like good old Coach Les or myself would stand up in front of you and say, what is it that you want? What is your dream? You see? You remember those things we used to give you? Yeah. And you used to show up, and then we'd talk to you, and then after about 2 or 3 hours, we'd ask you for $10,000, right? And the reason we would do that is because we had the answer, and we still do have the answers that you're looking for to be able to make yourself successful. That's the reason you're watching this broadcast right now. That's why you're tuned in, and that's why you're not disconnecting, because you understand that there's something not right. Now, I can ask Coach Les this, and I think I know the answer. But Coach Les, out of all the clients and all the seminars that you've done, and we'll say in the past 6 months, have you noticed a change of the way that we've done things, the way our audiences are reacting, and the just the attitude of this year versus prior to COVID, when we were all doing our own thing? If you could annotate that, I'd appreciate that.
Well, I think, Robert, people are hungry for transformation. They're hungry for doing something different. You know, they were forced to do something against their will for a lot of people, to stay at home. And a lot of them realized, wait a minute, what if I took this time to start my own business? A lot of people wrote books. Yes. A lot of people created a company, wrote a business plan. And when they came out of when we came out, started to come out of COVID, because I still don't think we're out of it.
Exactly.
Their job wasn't available. So they were forced to either find something else or pick up that entrepreneurial spirit and go for it. Well, you know, I'm here to tell you, I think that there's a beautiful opportunity in the making of the United States in this place, because we're the country that makes it available for people to start a business, grow a business, no matter how big, how small. And you know, now's the time to do it. Right? For a lot of people, they always question when. Well, guess what? Now's the time. So yeah. That's my little take on it, Robert.
No, you're absolutely right, 100% on target. Because it's the people that say, when is the time? But they keep saying it over and over and over and over. And guess what, guys? If you keep saying that over and over, the time is going to be never. Think about that. Maybe it's time to act, react, and make actions right now and create that dream that you have. Now, how do you do that? Because we're all college graduates, the people that you're talking to. We all have been through trainings that are absolutely clear on how to get you to the next level. Let me be very, very, very clear about that. Whenever you hear myself or Coach Les in any type of platform, in a room, on television, everything we say is completely designed with your success in mind. In other words, we're not just out there taking chances or getting ideas. All we're trying to do is to show you this is what you can do. And like Coach Les just said, this is the time right now to make the change. Now, we're not having a seminar in Miami where you've got to give us $600 and say, come to Miami and we're going to teach you everything. No, it's not like that. But I will tell you, there are no better coaches than you're looking at right now in the entire world. Why? Because I come from a business where I train people and they paid $25,000 to have me coach. Coach Les, believe it or not, my friends, has coached over 50,000 people. Now the benefit, or is it 5,000, Coach?
5,000.
5,000. Okay, 5,000 people. My bad. So just listen, my friends. The benefit that you all don't know about is that Coach Les and I were trained exactly the same by the exact same people. Think about that. That is why we have this yin and yang. That's why Coach Les is back today, because what we do benefits our clients. Now, Coach Les has a certain way, and we're very clear. Coach Les is extremely emphatic on the way he does things, his ability to listen, his ability to communicate, and his ability to show that he is, it says up at the top, if you look at the screen, Legacy Zig Ziglar certified. I don't think you guys know what that means, but I'll tell you that means that he has gone through the ringer and he knows. And he will challenge you. And like I think Coach Les said during the intro, the things that we're talking about today are not easy. They're not going to be easy. They're not something that you probably even want to deal with. But if you sit back and you give us the chance to work with you and you show us and you open your hand of cards and let us know what it is that you're looking for, what you're searching for, we can give you the roadmap. Now, what can I offer you? I can offer you the roadmap to get from A to Z very, very quickly. That's what I do. I take companies that are, Rob, we're losing $2 million a month, and bam, I can fix it and I can make it so that it's not happening anymore. And I can come in and analyze your entire company, break it apart, put it back together. Coach Les has the exact same ability to deal with your personal life. Coach Les is by all means the best life coach I have ever in my life, ever even seen. Why? Because he will give you, and most of you who are listening on one of our affiliates right now, if you've ever heard Coach Les or if you've ever heard this broadcast, you understand how he listens and how he listens to some of the things that we might think, wow, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or not Coach Les, but some of the callers, the listeners, the viewers that we have. But we give them space to be them. Now let's talk about that space. There is nothing bad, sick, or wrong about you right now. Trust me, we believe in you, we love you, and we care. That's why we're here tonight. That's why I'm here in Los Angeles, and I'm sitting here at 9 o'clock at night talking to you, and Coach Les is probably, I don't know, he's like 3 hours ahead of me. There's a reason why we're here, because we want you to have the best life that you can possibly have. Now, you know what? I get, and Coach Les gets this. I get that you got that letter in the mail that said, you know what, your rent was $855. Now it is $1,400. What am I going to do? I get that. I get that whenever you went to buy Thanksgiving dinner or you went to buy Christmas dinner and you normally spend $150 to $200, that it was probably $300 to $400. I also get the fact that there's a lot of my friends in technology that are making over $200,000 to $300,000 a year that unilaterally, starting with Twitter, got terminated in one day. Now, can that cause stress in your life? Oh my goodness. So I'm going to ask Coach Les. Coach Les, you got a person who comes to you, who's a client, that says, I'm losing it. I no longer believe in myself. I no longer have an answer to figure this out. It's just too complicated. I lost my job. I have to feed my kids. So what do I do? I mean, that's the kind of questions we're really getting, guys. That's reality. What do you tell people, Coach?
Well, first of all, my experience is when people come with that is for them to share whatever their experience is of being laid off, being let go, and to look and see, one, what's the residual impact of that story that they're dealing with, and then go, okay, so that's what we know, that's what's so, now what? And I have people take a look at, what if this was the time for you to take on that dream? What if this is the time? Because I can tell you what, there's never been so much government money handed out. If you look and see, there was a ton of money that was handed out to people. And if people were smart, they didn't spend as frivolously as they have done in the past. They were cautious, they were careful. There's government agencies that are now available. There's grants that are available. There are organizations out there. The SBA. The SBA is looking for ways to create small businesses and get them back up and running. I mean, think of all the small businesses that closed during the pandemic.
Right.
Closed. So now's the opportunity. So when I sit down with people, I say, okay, so we know what's so. There's nothing that we can do about it. We could cry over it. What's that going to do other than waste energy and put tears on the ground? Instead, what I do is say, you know what? Let's take the opportunity to look and see, what's your vision? What's your mission? Take a look at why you're excited about something. If there's something in your life that you're excited about, how would you like to make a difference? What is it? What's your dream job or dream opportunity to make a difference and solve a problem? So I usually send clients home that I've worked with around this arena. Yeah. Rob, I send them home with an assignment. What problem do you know out there that you could have a solution for, that you would enjoy creating and empowering a solution for that? Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter with what. I'm not asking if you have the money to do it. I'm not asking if you have all the ingredients for it at this point. I'm asking you to do the thinking, to sit back and do and stretch and really.
Ooh, let me stop you there. I love that word, Les. I love that word, stretch. Because, boy, don't we all know that life is so simple when you're sitting on the side and life is just moving along at the exact speed and altitude at which you wish. But when we have to stretch our wings, boy, and that's what we use in our training classes, it's called a stretch. And sometimes the stretches are what? Uncomfortable, right? They're uncomfortable. But you know what? It's amazing the number of people that are given that challenge to accept that stress or accept that stretch, that come out and they go, wow, I did it. Is that your experience?
Oh, of course. Because when you get to know that you're who you are and that you are a miracle to begin with, and that you have everything you need, you've always had everything you need. All there is to do is to remove the walls, the noise that might have been put in there by somebody else as you were growing up, that might have been put in there because you saw somebody else take a leap of faith and it failed. Well, what I tell people is, look, I want to have you fail. I want to have you fail 100 times. Why? Because I know that tells me you're on the court, and the 101st time could be the time that you hit the jackpot. I mean, I can't tell you, Robert, how many times I failed, how many times I haven't been enough. And yet, what I know is if I keep moving forward, life shows up in the most mysterious ways and gives us an opportunity to level up over and over and over again. Sometimes we're blind to it. Yeah. It's one of the things where, working with us, whether it be with you around finances, you find things people go, well, I never knew about that. Or working with me, and I say, look, at this point, you're just getting started. You don't need $1,000 a month or a $2,000 a month or a $3,000 a month coach. There's an organization out there called score.org. SCORE, and I'll put it in. I'll make a ticker and put it in the chat. SCORE has mentors that are a lot of times retired people or people that have become wealthy and want to come give back.
Right.
And they give free mentoring around getting a business started. So, our objective is to support you no matter where you're at. And if you happen to be in a place where Dr. Robert or myself could be of assistance, that's even more fun. But it's not the only reason that we're here tonight. It's not the only reason that we're doing what we're doing. And, for me, it's all about that mindset. It really is. Simon Sinek, chose to create a book called Why. Start with why. Like, why do you want to do what you want to do? Why? And when you get to the foundational principles of why and what it is, for me, Zig Ziglar has a quote that just resonates, and it's my favorite quote. It says, you can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. So here we are. So back to you, Robert.
Wow. For those of you listening, if you're not taking notes, please, at this time, understand something, my friends. We're here to help you. We're here to assist you. I hate the word help. Help means you owe me something. Assist means I'm working with you side by side. Take notes and write down this, because Coach Les gave you an absolute pearl of wisdom gem. Score.org is funded by the United States government. It has people who have built and sold businesses, and they are available with you to meet with you. It's up on our screen right now, anywhere in the United States. If you're having problems and you're anywhere else outside the United States, we have a huge following in Russia. For some reason, I don't know why, but we do. I will work and I will get you your equivalent of Score in your country. And all you have to do is just, I don't know if Coach Les can put my email up there, but it's Robert, ROBERT, at WCILaw.com. And if you send us an email, we'll work directly with you. Just make sure in the subject line that you mentioned that you saw us on this broadcast. So what Coach Les is saying is our normal bill rates are in the hundreds of dollars an hour. That's fine. So if you own a company and you are in a problem, or let me be very clear, very, very clear. If you're having issues financially and you are dealing with issues that you cannot handle and that are costing you to be in absolute chaos, it is essential that you contact me. If you're dealing with something where your relationship is at a sink and you're not putting yourself in a position even to give yourself a chance to be in a relationship, or you've just given up, or something's wrong, or if you by chance have any type of suicidal ideation or any type like that, start with Coach Les. That Coach Les and I in 2024 are going to announce some wonderful, wonderful cohesive things that we're doing together. And you will see as we do that I will be traveling around the country, doing seminars, doing what I've been doing for a long time, showing people exactly how it is that they can do what Coach Les said. You see, it is all about the mindset. It is all about you deciding what it is that you want out of life. My friends, I'll tell you this. If you can decide what it is that you want out of life, man, we're standing there in partnership with you. It's so, so powerful. It's so, so powerful, because that's what we create. And all you have to do, all you really need to do is show up, be deadly honest with what's going on. And you know what? Let us use our experience to fix or bring your life to the level that it deserves to be. Now, I know there's many of you right now, we'll probably get over 500,000 to 1 million views on this on this cast. And I know there are a lot of you sitting in your house saying, you know what, Rob, I get what you're saying, but you know what? I've had the problem myself, and I haven't even got out myself, my friends. I haven't been able to get out of my house. I can't even go out and take a walk. I'm stuck. I get that. That's where you go to Coach Les, Robert Paisola, and let us work with you. Now, if you have a business and your business is going through chaos, or you're trying to buy a business, or you're dealing with, let's say, the SBA, or you're trying to deal with the banks, or something happened financially where you got involved in a relationship and the relationship was involved, it was business result, it was involved with business, and everything kind of went south. Please don't spend your money on an attorney. Please do one thing. Type my name, Robert Paisola, RobertPaisola, and then type the word SoundCloud, SoundCloud. Every single day, as Coach Les will tell you, we are fighting some of the biggest companies in America, as we have been sued by some of the biggest companies in America. And I looked that up last night, and I was kind of proud of it, actually. I was looking at it, I was like, damn, we must have really had an event. And it was back when the internet first started. But they were worried. They were concerned because of what we were doing. They were concerned because we were on their turf. So we ended up in litigation. It was right at the beginning when the internet became, it was a thing. And I was very, very, very proud to accept that lawsuit, because in every single case, we either settled or, which we didn't pay any money. They just decided it's probably not good to have somebody like us in our team, Western Capital, against them. Guys, I wasn't even planning on talking about this, but about 13 years ago, one of my relatives was involved in an accident. The accident involved a huge cruise line. The cruise line was on a course in the middle of the, up by the North Pole. And I tell people all the time, if it's not documented, it did not happen. Listen carefully. If it's not documented, it did not happen. The relative of mine listened to what I said. And before she left, she actually bought herself a waterproof digital camera. How many other people on that boat had that? Very few. So what we were able to do, and this is the reason I'm saying this is where opportunity exists. We were able to have a photograph and live video of the boat hitting the iceberg. Think about that. So the cruise line then said, you know what? We're going to give everybody on the ship, as the boat sank and as they all got off and got onto the rafts, we're going to give you all $10,000 in another trip on our cruise line. That did not work for me. It didn't. It was an insult. So I got involved, and I spent 3 years of my life fighting in federal court against this company. By the time it was all done, they ended up paying money to get rid of me versus the issue of the damage that happened to my loved one. Now, why would they do that? The answer is because we are absolutely aggressive. We do not stop. And we take on some of the biggest companies in the world. And you know what? That's why, and some of you are here right now. Some of you right now in the past 34 minutes have said, you know what? I don't know what it is, but there's something about these people that I'm listening to with Coach Les and Rob that I want them on my team. And you know what? If you're one of those people, guys, just you've got the information. Replay the video. That's the number one thing. Because it's not a mistake. We're not here by accident. Because we were able to take that $10,000 and multiply it by, I don't know, multiple thousands, millions. Okay? That's not an accident. That is because of the training that we received during our period at which we were susceptible to learning how to do what we do. Those exact skills that brought millions of dollars to you or to my family can help you. Are you getting collection notices in the mail? Are you finding that your stress level is so crazy right now because everybody's coming at you for something, or the utilities are getting shut off, or whatever it happens to be? I'm pretty sure that you hear the passion in my voice. And Coach Les Hill, he's put his telephone number. It's scrolling on the bottom in his email. I want you guys to realize what you're hearing tonight is real. And we've created and made millions and millions of dollars for people. And I'll tell you, during the period at which we did seminars and marketing seminars and coaching and mentoring, we would do 4 events per week and bring in over $1 million a week at the time we were doing that. Now, why? Because people had a desire to be held accountable. So what I'm going to ask Coach Les about is to explain the power of accountability. And you'll notice on the screen it still says Robert Paisola SoundCloud. But I want you guys to type that into Google, and you're going to listen to some calls, and you're going to be amazed. Coach, let's talk about accountability. And an accountability partner, either as your coach or as someone who is virtual, who you can talk to. You know, we have different type of coaching programs, but we have one-on-one, which is me talking to you as an individual. We have one-on-many, and then we have the granddaddy of them all. That's where Coach Les gets on an airplane, comes out to your place of wherever you are, goes to your business or your home and says, you know what? We are going to fix your issue no matter what it is. And he's not going to let you fail. Coach, explain accountability if you can.
So one of the things about accountability, you know, Robert, is first off, it's one of the 4 branches of my business flower. You know, it's integrity, accountability, structures for fulfillment, and grace. And accountability is this opportunity that we have as individuals to create what it is that we want in life, put it out there, write it down, create it, whether it's numbers, goals, whether it's visions. You know, some people create vision boards and they want a home, and they find their home and they cut it out of a magazine and put it on a vision board. They want financial goals. They want our return on investment. They want the profit and loss statement to change. So they create all of these things. And then they come to me as a coach and they say, look, this is what I want. I know this. This is the financial game that I want to play. This is what I want to win. I want you to hold me accountable for this, which means then for me, I make sure, give the structures set up for it. Are you time blocking? You know, most people are so wasteful with their time. And I'll tell you this, I schedule my wasteful time. Like, I will leave a blank spot and say, whatever you want to do, whether it's just sit and do nothing, or just sit, read a book, sit and surf the internet, walk my dogs. There's time that I just set aside for nothing, no things in that time. Then I look, and there are times when I will schedule every 15 minutes, and I do funky things, Robert. Like, I'll put in, start a meeting at 12:15 versus at 12. Why? Because it triggers something. It plays with the mind. It's different. And so now when it comes to holding people accountable for that, most of them are like, oh, it must be noon. They show up 5, 10, 15 minutes early. And then in their mind, they're like, oh, I thought I was 5 minutes late, but you're actually 10 minutes early. So there are things that we do to make holding you accountable easier. When we hold people accountable, we're looking to say, look, you have never put your feet up against the wall and said, I have to do this, 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 and this. Some of you may have what I call the warm, fuzzy agreement. Yeah, it could be like that. In fact, you know, I'm pretty good. When I do it, it usually ends up better than the numbers I put there. Well, if you're winning your numbers like that, I'm going to come along the second time and level up your game again and say, there's no waffling back and forth for any of you here. This is about diving into the game head first, arms up over your head, in cutting the water and making the most out of this, and then being held accountable, being in communication. Say, I want you to make sure I do 50 laps. So I, as their accountability partner, click, 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 click. And if it looks like they're still going after 50, I stop them and say, hey, you just finished 50. Awesome. Thank you. Integrity, integrity, integrity. Back to you, Robert.
That takes us right into the next area of the discussion. What we're going to do for our sponsors is we are going to go silent for 15 seconds. And we're doing that. And there'll be a word from our sponsor, Mercedes-Benz. Stand by, 15 seconds. And we're clear in Los Angeles, Westwood 1, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cue music. And we're live. All right, Coach. It's good to see you again, my friend. What a discussion we're having today. You know, I think the way I judge these things is, do I think that we're creating change in people's lives, right? Do I think that we're actually doing something that's going to bring people to a different level? My gosh, my friend, you know, just looking at the success of your business, and I think I learned a lot. I learned a lot from you because I've been on Clubhouse, which is a platform, which is an oral platform where you learn how to talk and communicate. Guys, if you don't, and listen carefully, if you do not know how to use your voice to get your point across, please learn, because we are now in a digital technology world where you must stick your head out and say, you know what, I'm going in, as Coach said, I'm going in all in 100%, because people will listen to you when they know that you add value to their life, right? People ask Coach Les questions because he simply is there to not necessarily answer every question. And Coach Les and I had a discussion about this the other day, the more I'm thinking about it. And I think Coach Les will remember this. I tell people all the time, whenever I coach or mentor you or your business, I don't give you answers. Think about that for a second. It's not my job to give you answers, but it is my job to keep you in the question, to ask you questions over and over and over until you can figure it out, what it is that you already know inside you. Because guess what? Reality says you already know a lot of the things you're looking for by the time you're very, very young. And I'm going to go right where Coach Les left off. A lot of things happened to a lot of people when they were young. And you know what? That built up walls, that built up buildings, that built up absolute identities that are not real. And guess what? That's okay. Because those are your coping mechanisms. And we understand that. And I want you for a second to just in your mind, visualize we're standing in front of a whiteboard, right? And there's a picture of you. Then I draw a circle right on your stomach. And then right over your heart, I draw a circle. And that's how you are from 0 to 6 months. You're just, oh, wow, this is a great world. This is amazing. Then from 6 months to 3 years, there's another ring that goes around, isn't there? But guess what that ring is? That ring is not knowledge. It's a wall. So then we go to the next one, and we go from what happened from 3 years old to maybe 10. Another wall. From 10 to 18, another big wall. So then when it comes time for me to talk to you, what am I talking to? It's not a trick question. I'm talking to those walls and those masks and the images that you've created over a period of time, because that's how you've been able to take care of yourself. And that's absolutely okay. Coach Les.
Yes.
And the next thing we do is we take a dagger and we run that dagger as far in to that heart center as we can to get to that tender, kind, loving, caring person that is you, the beautiful person within, because that is where the heart is. And that's where we start. That's where we start, my friends. Coach, let's just put up a note here for Clubhouse. If you're smart, you'll copy it down, you'll copy it, and you'll show up and you'll listen and you'll learn. Because I'll tell you right now, there's people there that are learning an awful lot. But once we break through that heart space, that's an agreement between us and you that says you trust us, we trust you. Yes, we know the things you're dealing with. We know there's nothing you can tell Coach Les or myself that we have not heard before, because every single person we have dealt with in the history of our entire career has had those exact same things. They've had the circles, right? They've had it. And we've shown them how to break it down. And you know what? It's almost assimilated to this, and maybe many of you have heard this. What's it like to carry that backpack on your back and it's rocks and rocks and rocks? We did a video about that. If you search Western Capital Motivation, you'll be able to see it. To be able to walk around and carry rocks on your back of the history and the pain and the suffering and the drama that you've gone through. What would you give to get rid of that? I defer to Coach Les on that because he has a specific way of doing that. Me, I'm more analytical. I'm more of the guy that's like, okay, well, you need to open your mouth and start talking, number one. Number two, and so it's maybe not as comfortable as Coach Les. And the way Coach Les does it is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Because he shows you how to take that backpack off so that you're not constantly running, constantly dealing with that stuff. And I ask you this question, my friends. How many of you are still suffering wearing that backpack that you started putting on when you were 1 year old? And then something happened akin to drawing the line or the circles. And another rock went in and something else happened and another rock went in. And all of a sudden, boulders started going in. Coach Les?
Well, it's interesting. All of this, right, is, and, as we can see, we're, for everybody, we're getting close to wrapping up today. We're about 6 minutes away. So I think now is a good time for us to share a few things, right? We put the link to Clubhouse. That's to the 24-hour Bible study. I'm also going to put the one to the Ziegler Legacy, and then I'll also put one up that just takes you into Clubhouse as a general into Clubhouse. So I'll get all three managed here in a moment. The thought that I have for everybody is to realize that we have a ton of potential. We have a lot of potential. We have a lot of things that we can, we can add into our lives to create and make our lives better. This that I put up tonight, and I'll go ahead and do something real quick here and get you the here. Let's see. Hold on one second. I apologize. Delete. There we go. Okay. I'll take care of it in a little moment. I'll just leave this up here. Integrity. Integrity is something that I think a lot of people lost, or they lost sight of during COVID, during the pandemic. And why do I say that? Is because we could no longer trust the media. 1 week they would say one thing, the next week they would contradict it and say, oh, well, we just learned this today. And then a month later, they would contradict it again. and say, oh, well, we've got new information. And I think in being responsible for who we are in life and what we're up to is really a gift. When, I've been on mission work, and I don't know how many of you are listening that have been on missions, but when you go on a mission trip and you get to see, who are these people? Who are the possibilities that are going in around the world here and making a difference? And, I want to say this, it really is oops, a little feedback. Sorry about that. It really is something that's a privilege. We live in a very privileged world. We have the privilege of making a difference. We have the privilege of going to work. There are so many jobs available today than have ever been available. There are more people making more money than they've ever made before in their life. Yes. As Robert's talked about and was talking about earlier today with me, how much the prices have gone up. Well, Robert, I was thinking about this, and, the minimum wage now, right? You go to Target and you're making $18 an hour. Before the pandemic, what were you making at Target?
$9,
9, 10.
Yeah.
So pay's doubled. The food has doubled, ladies and gentlemen. Not all food has gone up 100%. It might have gone up 40 or 50%. Gas, there was a fear. Oh my goodness, the fear. Oh my gosh, gas is going to go to $6. It barely made it past $4. Now it's back in the $2 range again. So be careful what you listen to. Have integrity with where you find your source of information. Perhaps if you hear something about the police force, perhaps it's time to go and meet some policemen or women. Excuse me. It's an opportunity to find out, is it really, do they really have that point of view? Or is it the media making it dramatic so that they can sell more commercials, so they can sell more product, so that they can raise the prices of their commercials to the vendors out there? Remember, there's always another side of the coin, and people don't talk about the other side of the coin. And it's time that we did. It's time that we looked at underneath the carpet. It's time that we looked at what's gotten brushed under the carpet for so long now in the last 2 years, and even prior to this. I mean, here's one of the greatest things. I just love this conversation, Robert, where people say, or you'll hear this conversation, senators, they get lifelong benefits. Their kids get lifelong benefits. Imagine how much money we could save if it wasn't being a senator wasn't meant to be a lifetime career. It was meant for businessmen to go in, make a difference in the country, right, and move on. It wasn't meant to be a lifetime of swigging and swishing and shaking hands and under the table deals and taking money and putting the money in Swiss bank accounts or Bahamian bank accounts. It was about making a difference, coming into a meeting and making a difference for humanity. And, the joke is, well, I think we should change how they're paid. Yeah. Who's going to sign off on it? The very people that sign off on the laws are the people that are reaping the benefit. No. It is never going to make it. Why? Because those suckers are never. I mean, what do you think, we're going to cut our pay to ourselves? Of course not. So it's one of the biggest farces on the planet that they even talk about it. I tell you what, show me a politician that doesn't lie. That's what I want to see. I want to see a whole new wave of politicians that have figured out how to stop lying. Or they'll say, well, I didn't lie. I just didn't say anything. Well, guess what? There's this thing called lying by omission.
Lying by omission.
Right. So, I'm super excited about this. I can't wait till we come back and take on some more heatful conversations. I think in the new year, we ought to take on some of these things and hear what people have to say and invite people to come in. How do we do this? Well, it starts with us. It starts with the public. It starts with the people. We elect the officials. Yes, I know. And we've got to find some that are willing to take the fight. Willing to take on the fight. And we get enough of them. Watch out, Washington, D.C. You better not let your seat get too warm.
Yeah.
Back to you, Dr. Robert.
I'll tell you what, my friends. During this broadcast of 56 minutes and 25 seconds, we have had over 10,000 people go on our website on YouTube at Epic Economist, EPIC Economist, and subscribe. We've also had people go on our LinkedIn, go on our Facebook, go on Coach Les's. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm sitting here looking at another screen to the side. That's why I keep looking over here. And it's amazing the number of people that are following us on all these platforms. Remember, the reason you're following us is because of what Coach Les said. We're here to create change. Guys, we're not going anywhere. There's no way to get rid of us. Okay, we have a platform now. We have spent a lot of money, and I mean hundreds of thousands of dollars has been put out to be able to make this real, for you to be able to see what it is that we can do. If you look at your screen right now, it says clubhouse.com/club. Okay. The choice is yours, my friends. The choice is yours. And I know a lot of you are saying, Rob, I've heard you in rooms, but I've never, ever heard the things you're saying tonight. Or Coach Les, I've heard you in rooms. I've never heard the things you're saying tonight. Hold on, my friends, because what you're going to see from us in 2024 or 2023 is amazing. So we'll have a link on this distribution. If you look in the show notes, I'm going to give you one of my books that I just wrote. And I'm going to give you a link, and you're going to be able to go in. You'll be able to download it. All we ask is that you put your information in. And just because of the number of people here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you a code. The code is WEALTH, WEALTH. But I'll go ahead and put that in the show notes so that you can download that. It's a $19.95 value, I believe. But it's because you've taken the time and you've stayed till the end, and you deserve it. My friends, I love you. I care. And as Coach Les said, we're here and we're not going anywhere. And if you have any questions, all we ask is that you replay this. And the best thing you could possibly do for us is to share this. If you know somebody that's going through problems, personal, business, financial, or they're just on the edge to where you think there's no help, the best thing they can do is watch this video and make their own decisions. Right now, we are being broadcast in 4 different languages in 38 countries. That is not a mistake. That is because people are listening. And as Coach Les said, that's what the people are here to do. Because people like Coach Les and I have very, very specific ideas and points. And as he said, I'm not going to get into it, but he said the politicians do not deserve to be red carpeted their entire life. And I have many, many friends who are in the Senate and the Congress. And in a lot of ways, I agree with what Coach Les said. So this has been number 2 of what I promised you would be an amazing series with Coach Les J. Hill. If you want to reach me, all you have to do is go online to www.wcilive.com or Robert Paisola, RobertPaisola.com. If you want to reach Coach Les, I'm going to send it over to him to close out, and I'm going to let him give you your information. Write this down. And again, if there's something here that you hear, that you see, guys, just watch it again. And please, by the way, just click like and subscribe. Help us out. Okay. I'm not going to get into that whole drama. There's a reason. It's algorithmic. Okay. That's the way if you do that, do it on Coach Les's side, do it on my side, because you're going to see it blasted everywhere. Coach Les, we appreciate your time tonight. Let's tell everybody how everybody can reach you, and we'll go ahead and conclude this, my friend.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. For those of you on Clubhouse, thank you. We're going to go ahead and end and leave quietly on those. So they are complete. We're going to go ahead and we'll perhaps move these out a week and see. Maybe we'll be back here next week. You never know. So we'll see if that's a possibility, but we'll put them out there as an opportunity. And in the meantime, because that's it's always a little bit of fun to be able to do this kind of stuff, to be able to be responsible for some of the things that are available on Clubhouse for us to come and join. So with that, I am going to kick Robert and I out of the game. And Robert, Dr. Robert, we'll be back with you soon again. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And
a true pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome. And here we go.
Coaching with Les has doubled my practice.
We've increased our sales by about 33%, blowing all of our goals out of the water.
In my first 6 months, I actually grew my business with his help over 500%. Literally 500%.
Les Hill is the type of person that invests back in you and back into your company. So if you're looking for a business coach with integrity, choose Les Hill.